afternoon to all the Sandy Run Country Club members. This is Casey O'Reilly, the golf pro at Sandy Run Country Club. Today is Saturday, March 13th. We're on the first tee at Sandy Run, and we're going to do our first video of the year. And what we're going to talk about today is hitting your driver and the fundamentals of hitting your driver. It's early in the season, you're just starting to play. So we're going to talk about some fundamentals on how to hit the driver and then how to create a good wide arc on the backswing, which is what is critical when hitting your driver, is to get a nice wide arc to deliver the club back into the ball from the inside and get a solid strike in the center of the club. So the first thing we're going to talk about today are the fundamentals. So, when hitting a driver, obviously the ball's teed up. I like to tee the ball up where the logo of the ball is just on top of the club face, just above the face, because you want to hit your driver. The sweet spot on the modern day driver is on the top of the club face. So if you take the logo of the ball and get it right on the top line, that's a good start. As far as fundamentals with your driver in the pre-swing, we got to get the ball forward in your stance. So if we're going to hit one down the fairway, you could just put an alignment rod when you practice and make sure that when you take your stance, the alignment rod is off your left heel, right? So when you set up with your driver, the ball position is going to be off your left heel, and very important here is that you tilt your shoulders this way at address, because that's going to help you hit the ball in the upswing. The driver is the only club we don't want to hit down on the ball. If you're hitting down on your driver, you're going to have a lot of left to right, a lot of backspin on the ball, and you're going to lose distance. So by playing the ball forward in our stance and then tilting our shoulders where our left shoulder is slightly higher than our right, something like that, you're now set up to catch it on the upswing, which is what we want. And then as far as weight distribution in the setup, with your driver, it's the only club in your bag where you can cheat a little bit and put about 60% of your weight at address on your right leg. So we're already loaded, onto my right side before I start my swing. If we start 50-50 or even left, it's hard to shift your weight. You're going to have a reverse pivot. So again, the three critical things before you take the golf swing with your driver: ball position with your left heel, have your shoulder tilt, so your front shoulder is higher than your right, and then you can cheat a little bit and put a little weight on your right leg, so you're already behind the golf ball. Now what I like to teach with the driver swing, most of the swings really, but especially with the driver, is a nice wide arc, okay? And you say, well, how do I do that? I try to tell my students that your right arm is critical. Everybody thinks about the left, but the right arm is where we want to get wide from your body. That's going to get you to turn. So here's a good drill you could do on the range with your irons or your driver. You could take a club and you just split grip. You put your left hand on the grip, you take your right hand on the grip, you split grip and just make swings. And you can see how far my right hand is from my head. I've turned over my right side here. So it really produces the feeling of the wind up of the body without the sway. Obviously we don't want to be swaying off the ball, so we're going to keep our head centered, but we're going to pivot that way. You can see the right hand is here, so one hand, right, now grab it with your left, and there's your turn. Now as you can see here, very important, this is the best part of this video, is if you're struggling with distance or turning behind the ball, most people turn too much with the shoulders and it'll allow your hips to turn. So I like to cheat a little bit. When I set up, I always like to pull my right foot back 2 inches behind my left. That's called a closed stance, and it helps your right hip turn behind me. The farther you can get your right hip behind you, the better your turn's going to be, your wide arc. So really the combination of a good backswing is your chest and your right hip turning this way, behind me. Not sideways, not lateral, that would be a sway. So when you come out and you start hitting balls, your driver, get your ball position forward, get your shoulder tilt, get a little weight here, and then think about your backswing, turning your right hip behind you. And there's my pivot, there's my turn. Then we can drive into your left side and throw the club through. All right, so let's hit one here. So now it's time to play golf. We're not going to think about all that stuff, but we are going to do the ball position forward in a stance. Okay, we're going to get the closed stance, and we're going to tilt the shoulders and lean on our right side a little bit, so we're already set. Now just turn behind the ball and throw the club down the line. You can see everything's finished on my left side. So again, driver fundamentals and backswing fundamentals. Ball position forward, shoulder tilt, and cheat a little bit, weight on your right side, and then backswing. We gotta feel the right hip and the chest turn together behind you. Turn this right hip behind you, and then you can fire it through. In the next video, we'll talk about the downswing, the lower body, and the arms being thrown to the target. It's great to be here at Sandy Run. We look forward to teaching you. As soon as we get going here in a couple weeks, we'll start to be able to give you lessons. If you want to take a lesson in a couple weeks with your driver, we could do it on the weekday mornings, maybe somewhere on the back nine before players get out there. And we love to help you hit your driver more in the sweet spot.